That's correct.
I was going to say, yeah, is he any relation to John
No,
Quincy?
not at all.
Speaking of politics, Pauly, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff happening right now. And I love this new ad that this is, I guess, exclusively running in Florida,
Right.
where Trump is trying to completely denounce any credibility as a human being that Marco Rubio can have, which
Right.
I would imagine probably isn't much. I mean, I'm just guessing on that. But this advertisement, I mean, essentially singles him out as being one of the most heinous criminals this side of El Chapo. It's great.
It's so funny you say that, right? I mean, again, it has nothing to do left, right, Republican, Democrat, who you like. But Trump has been hit with savagery that I've never seen, deservedly or not. I mean,
Yeah.
well, if you hit up anything, well, let's see what the polls say or poll results, or let's see, it'll come up things, you can't escape it anywhere, anti-Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump. But like you said, for some reason, his one fire back on this, that's a potent ad, huh? That's
Not messing around.
What? You look back, because
I think
you
he's
look
got
at
him taking
you look
money
at
from the
Rubio like a little.
Did you see him this morning on the Today Show? He was hawking his steaks. He was hawking his restaurants.
And the steaks have been out of business for I don't know how many years. He got
said
them at the butcher yesterday.
Yeah, he says to Matt Lauer, "Would you like a steak, Matt?" Yeah, Mr. Trump. He says $50.
No, it's great stuff. But yeah, Rubio getting disgraced here.
Yeah.
That commercial was great. They got him selling his house to somebody that he did a favor for, and
the
somehow
look
he
on his face.
picks up an extra $200,000. He's using state credit cards to go finance strip club visits. He makes Richie Incognito look like a saint. How the hell can and he's going to lose in his own state? That's almost impossible, isn't it? I mean, this has been the wildest of the wild. And still at 25-1 to win the GOP. How do we pass? This is the most miserable thing I've ever done in my life. I mean, it's the mark of a loser. Not so much that you lose, that you pick horses that run very slowly, but that you pass on bets that would be considered to be strokes of genius, where, for $1,000 you might have made yourself a hell of a score.
Huge upset in
25-1 on the GOP. The day he came out with that thing where he said he was going to kill all the Mexicans. Who figured that was going to trigger a landslide victory in the election?
Right. Huge upset yesterday in Michigan, right? With Bernie.
Oh, Bernie.
The day before, 14 points behind in so-called polls to win outright.
I think it's just a
Bernie phenomenon is.
It's just an indication that people are fucking pissed off. They just don't. Yeah. And the harder the GOP establishment is hitting at Trump, the harder the people are revolting. The harder they're smacking back because they're good and pissed off. Not that I'm enamored with Donald Trump. Right. But you know what? Look at the alternative. These
Trump
losers.
could never win anything if he wasn't.
You know what's so funny? But the electoral college, which is sort of outdated, the way it's set up. I love with Rubio and Cruz. The thing is, we're the only ones that could be you couldn't be in a million years. You couldn't win the way it's set up. The only one that could pull it off, possibly. Actually, I would never buy it, but a long shot in New York, but could win Ohio, could win Pennsylvania, could win West Virginia. I mean, Trump, a possibility. The other guys could never, because California, New York goes right into one column, so it's tough to make it up, and then it comes down to, to certain states. And
you win Delaware, you get like 1.5 guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right, and it's, it's not
the Electoral College obviously is still relevant today, is it not? It was written on the back of a napkin at the Last Supper. The concept. What are we going with on that? I mean that's crazy. I would have thought that Trump had less chance of getting elected than Judge Judy had being nominated to the Supreme Court by Obama as his final act of brilliance, during the 8-year presidential run. I thought that this time they got him. That when everyone just slandered him so bad and such cuckoo stuff, did you see he made a mohawk haircut? He was one of the WWE. He was really a WWE front for Vince McMahon. I mean, just they mentioned the subject and they hit him with this. But that was a big bounce back yesterday. I don't know how he feels about Idaho potatoes though, because he was heavily favored there and really got killed in that. You would think electing Don Rickles though to be president.
It comes down to next Tuesday. Some of these
you up front there with the hat.
Some of these winner take alls where well, he's ahead in Florida. Going to be very close in Ohio. I don't know with him and Kasich. So,
But you know what? You wouldn't think it would be any great distinction to win Florida because look at the buffoons that we elect. Right? We're the ones that put Rubio in the Senate. We got this Rick Scott guy.
And you know what's, I guess, finally coming to the forefront? A thing, another half a genius guy was telling me with the Flint, Michigan, with the water problem there. I mean, there was like poison, dirty water. Down here in the Biscayne Bay is radioactive water we've been drinking for the last. I mean, this could be a huge, and very dangerous.
Certainly.
I mean, no wonder I have a neighbor that said he's got a dog now that's 9 years old. He, got to walk him in the morning, walk him at night. And when he walks him in the night, he was always afraid by the lake, alligators or something. But now he said, because it's not lit, now it don't matter. His dog glows after drinking radioactive water from the tap for 10 years. His dog glows in the dark, But boy, oh boy, that ain't too cool. Biscayne Bay, radioactive water.
Oh, not good.
And it was a little off. It was only 216 times more than it's supposed to be. Not once or twice. 200.
What's the legal limit there? 218?
Remember, you used to blow by on the turnpike, on the turnpike extension.
That green.
There was that thing, it was by a Glen Rinker construction site.
Every time you said it, everybody knew it.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago, I was crying, and I happened to have a young lady in the car, and she looked over and she said, "Oh, isn't that pretty?" And I said, "Pretty?
Green,
It's green water.
You're
It's
expecting
glowing."
a flying saucer to come out of there. That's the only thing that could survive in there is somebody from another planet. Yeah, that was always my favorite. That was back in the jet ski days. I used to think, hey, nice lake there. And then you realize that if you set foot in that thing, you were liable to immediately melt completely. All right, a lot of fun things happening. We're here at the Auction Gallery of Boca Raton. I've been talking football most of the morning.
Let's do that.
The NFL is always somehow in play. It doesn't matter what they do. You think the season's over. There's not much left to talk about. Demanding retirement kind of had me a little bit. Should they really put athletes through this anymore? They should just actually issue some kind of Twitter announcement that the guy's retired and never make the guy stand up there and make an ass of himself by breaking down these strong macho men who have had great championships and victories, sobbing like they were Erin Andrews at that,
Oh, we got to talk about that, too.
But it actually brought a tear to my eye, which the last time
he
it kicked
mentioned
into
Johnny
my
U.
eye
That's
was
where he got me
when they took down Argentine Tango, of course. But it was, I was never a big Manning fan, the Manning, Brady. I always thought Brady, and way back I always thought Manning for the money was no bargain. But I was happy to see him get this one, got one that he didn't deserve.
It was a nice conclusion to his career, actually.
And it was a nice, with that thing that popped up when he was 19 years old. Yeah. Sort of poo-pooed it with a Forrest Gump joke,
Yeah, I like the lady asking the question. He's right in the middle of a touching tribute to Tennessee and what a great man Phil Fulmer was. And she goes, "Yeah, did you rape that chick?"
Right. No,
right in the middle.
It's amazing.
There's a time and a place for every
What do you guys think about what the Dolphins are doing here?
Who knows? I mean, we don't know anymore.
Thank God they're cleaning out my Eagles trash bin. And they're taking. I read could it be true that they cut this Grimes because of his wife?
Yeah,
is that a fact?
But now they're asking him to come back. Now, because Maxwell, very shaky. Of the three players they got, Mario Williams, of course. We had said some shows back that when the season was ending. My God, the Dolphins, are getting leapfrogged by, underlings, Jacksonville, Oakland, this and that. There's so many, but, in all honesty, they were so bad for so long that they got so many good picks. The other teams where Dolphins were, middle of the road or semi-middle of the road. And you say, where did they go? I mean, they're lost. And Tannenbaum, whose M.O. is, get the big name, and, You would think that Mario Williams wasn't happy over there, so could still play.
He's got something left. He's got something left.
Maxwell, 28 years old only, and they say, he was surrounded by so many great players, but he could play a little bit. And Kiko Alonso was super as a rookie. He's only 25,
he's hurt, though,
but now, so I said, they gotta help, right? But now the two of them are like severely injured, maybe, right? It might
supposedly they're
might
going to
go
reverse
down.
the trade. I don't know. I've been hearing conflicting things about
right.
it.
Maxwell is hurting.
Maxwell's tweeting out all over the place. He actually has a pretty funny Twitter account, I guess, which
Right.
I'm not a big Twitter guy, but
Right.
I did see a couple of posts on it on the station Twitter account. And he was saying that he's in.
Right.
And then we were talking earlier this morning with a columnist here in Fort Lauderdale, Dave Hyde. And he said that as we speak, the deal was being shut down because
I'm sorry to hear that.
they'd gone to the medical staff of the Dolphins. And they did the exam, and he said both these guys have to go back to Philadelphia. Neither of them is going to pass the physical.
Sorry,
Which
I'm
is
sorry
pretty
to
amazing because Dante Culpepper passed the physical.
Yeah, amazing.
Right, here was a guy, his knee was shredded wheat. I mean, it couldn't have been in any worse shape, and they just said,
You know,
he's okay.
You know, it's got to be serious because now they're begging Grimes to come back. You know, they're begging him to
They
come
hit
back.
the wife,
They're sending flowers to the wife and
The
everything.
wife's a
and-
total whack job.
Yeah,
Absolutely out of her mind.
yeah.
I mean, you know, and you know, it's the old thing. I mean, you've heard this before. He's about to become an embarrassment, and that's where the wife is at. Imagine you're Stephen Ross, right? I mean, I don't care if this guy, unless he's Deion Sanders, and maybe even if he is Deion Sanders, you're coming into the office, you're taking your briefcase, you're throwing it down after these incidents with the wife where she was, you know, in the media, and she was already like a negative. You know, voice, and to an extreme, you know, where she's cutting down. This is somebody that's on the inside of the organization. It's one thing if I do it or you do it or the Jaybird, but you know, this
And
is
also
somebody,
some other things, right? She karate chopped a police officer.
Yeah,
like
and then,
that.
you
and
know,
karate chopped Andy Slater, I believe.
the
at
last
airport,
image of
right?
her is, you know, laying on the floor in handcuffs with the knee of a cop in her back, like she was that lady in San Antonio that just sold $5 worth of weed to some, you know, San Antonio police on the show Cops, right, where they take her down for having a marijuana seed. But it looked ugly. And then she had something else after that where she was going crazy about what? No, she got in a fight in the stands or something.
Right.
And that was it. So you would think Stephen Ross threw the briefcase down and just said, I don't care who this guy is. He could be Willie Wood. We don't want him out there. You know, that's it.
With the other player, man, Kiko Alonso. So I'm saying when they got him, wow, okay, so he's maybe not the next greatest thing as they thought, but he still can play. But the thing is, and then you say, wow, only 25, but he's 25 with two shot knees.
Yeah, with two
His
80-year-old
knees are
knees.
shot,
Yeah. His knees are in worse shape than George Blanda, right?
So I don't know.
Yeah, so who knows? It's hard to assess the moves. I
Well,
think
that's disheartening being an Eagles fan.
Yeah,
Very,
because
very
they're having the fire
disheartening.
sale,
Get rid
right?
of the
They got rid
damaged
of
goods,
everybody.
yeah.
What are they going to do?
Oh
Yeah.
boy, that
Your
just
Chip
ruined.
Kelly
That
experiment
just
turned out
ruined
to
my
be a
day.
mess, yeah.
Ruined my day.
But who knows? I mean, they were like being applauded for doing, you know, they have to strip it down. I think that's the biggest problem that afflicted the Dolphins, and I guess it happens to other teams where you're not in a position to completely strip it down to nothing, which maybe the Eagles aren't.
Right.
And I think it's easier to come from square one almost than
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
when you have a flawed foundation and you just keep adding and taking pieces out, but they don't ever really make any significant difference.
So,
yeah.
what's your guys, gentlemen's opinion on the $55 million awarded to Miss Andrews?
Pretty
I don't,
wild, yeah.
I don't think she's going to get a dime of it, but
Should get something, though. I mean, the
Well,
hotel has to
the
have
hotel-
insurance, you would think. And,
I think the hotel appeals. First of all, the guy they get the guy's he's broke.
bust out city,
He's bust out city. So half of it's out down the tubes there now. I was reading comments on it, and it seems like the opinion all over the country that this chick doesn't deserve this kind of money. And I just don't see what this jury saw that I don't see.
The one thing, somebody actually had me thinking the other way, because, you know, the original, you know, premise I started following the trial on was just, why does she look like a bag lady on, you know, in court when, you know, she's known for, like, these extravagant outfits that she's wearing.
Right.
And, obviously was dressing in a very suggestive fashion, you would say, as he made her rise to fame as a sports
Suggestive
announcer.
being the key word.
Very
Suggestive fashion, yeah. And then, you know, where, as you were saying on last week's show, Pauly, man, I mean, where we would be curled up in the fetal position in disgrace
yeah.
in the doorstep of some Bronx apartment, she was going on Dancing on the
Amazing,
Stars
yeah.
or whatever that is, with pasties and a G-string and making
yeah,
love to
yeah.
a guy, the known bad boy, right there on the floor in front of a national television audience, international television audience, and her parents. So how upset could she have been? And then, she quickly rose. I mean, escalated everything in her career, went skyrocketed from there. So you would think she wasn't damaged by it or emotionally traumatized
It comes down
too
to
much.
what you guys were saying last week, that it was a terrible thing that happened. Let's
No
face
doubt,
it.
yeah. I mean,
just
it
an
shouldn't
absolute
happen
terrible
anyway,
thing.
yeah.
But again, based on past performances, she certainly didn't look like she was traumatized.
Exactly.
No,
traumatized
it didn't
you're
look like it
saying.
affected her that badly, which is
No.
one consideration. And then, what is the level of responsibility at a hotel? And it looked like they had some pretty cheesy security procedures
yeah.
for people of celebrity status.
No,
I
they
mean,
were no-
she
they
knows
were
that this
wrong.
is a woman that's here to do a television thing that obviously has some kind of following. They know her real name. I think she was registered under another name, but her name pops up on the phone, the guy says. Mm-hmm. So they didn't do much to protect her privacy. And then what sort of had me swayed a little bit that maybe they were complicit to the point where they should have to pay something, I don't know, about $25 million, was how is it possible for a guy to be on his knees at the keyhole of your hotel room at any point in time, no matter who you are, even if it's the Jaybird or you or me, and they're actually like with a camera, videoing something or taking a film of something, and they're on their knees for 4.5 minutes jerking off while they're doing this, and nobody notices. I mean, should there not have been a camera
That's the
somewhere?
part that really confused me all along when I was reading what he said he did.
Yeah.
That he hollowed out the keyhole, that he did this with a drill.
I mean,
He
that's
said-
a lot
so
of
I
stuff
thought
to
it was
do to a
something
hotel
coming
room door,
from was it next door, adjoining things? But this was supposedly right outside the
Right
door,
outside
right?
the room,
you said,
yeah.
Right
you know,
outside.
maids are coming by, room service. Oh,
Listen,
hey,
and
You
I
would
think-
have to
and
say
they gotta
that was
have
a
the-
security breach of sorts.
They got to
that-
have cameras
Yeah.
in the hallways.
You would think that at some point in time something like that popped up. So I thought they were like, a minor contributor to the crime. I don't know. I should have borne some responsibility. 26 million worth. That seems like a far-fetched
That's
number.
okay.
Like we said, if you had lost a leg in a fire that was caused by the iron being left on the bed, still plugged in,
Right.
then still, it would have been an exorbitant amount of money, or so it seemed. But by the time the guy, as Jaybird said, is a bust out. He's got nothing. He's selling cheeseburgers somewhere. And maybe she ends up with 5 or 6 million.
I think that's what she's going to clear, 5 or 6
Still
million.
not a bad
It's
number.
not a bad payday.
Considering it also obviously enhanced her career, because there's no way that she could have been this popular
No.
without this video going.
When you were saying it's so true with and you guys can, Jaybird, you could attest to this in your previous single days that that in my you go to a place like anything, Holiday Inn, the Hilton, anything, whatever, and like you say, here's a guy on his hands and knees with a drill, and there's a wrong drill bit. Wait a second, I got the wrong drill bit. Where a normal guy, when I had some secret. In my younger
sees
days,
this.
when I had some secret rendezvous, and remember that when they finally went to the key cards, then,
yeah,
right,
the
from
key-
Reginald,
right.
you put in a key card, it does work, red light, security got your arms behind your back, they're carting you away.
And
Like,
somehow he had gone down. He had seen the maid was cleaning the room that he ended up with.
Right,
And
yeah.
he had gone downstairs and said, even though the room wasn't ready yet, because his other room that he originally booked. See, this is why I thought, well, maybe the hotel is getting hosed here, because he originally booked a room that was not even on the same floor. So it wasn't like they went out of their way and said, oh, by the way, you're on the wrong floor there, Mr. Barrett, or whatever his name is. You should be right across from the girl that you want to photograph nude and sell sell the clips to TMZ.
I mean, it all worked his way. He got the number from the in-house phone, the
By
room,
accident, and
then
then
he
the
goes
other
back
room.
and he sees the
Right.
maid cleaning,
Goes
finishing up the
downstairs
room.
and they say that'll be fine.
Amazing.
Yeah, so a series of mishaps, maybe guilty of a little bit of security, lacking in protecting her.
My local news up here in Palm Beach did a thing just the other day where they sent their investigative reporter to all the local hotels here, and they had the assistant check in under Jane Doe, whatever her name is, and then he came in about an hour later and said, "Oh, by the way, a friend of mine is staying. Her name is Jane Doe. Can you put me in a room next to her? Oh, yes, sir. She's in 202.
Yeah,
I'm going to
really,
give you
huh?
203.
Comes right up, yeah.
Oh, every single one.
I find that
every
so,
single
I
one.
find that so hard to believe because, again, going back to my days, when secret rendezvous and the one said,
Yeah.
I'm at the so-and-so, meet me. Come here, can I see what... They would under
Never,
any
yeah.
circumstances ever give
Who's
you,
asking?
yeah,
That would
yeah.
be like the veto treatment.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah,
asking?
And one guy said,
Who wants to
"Oh, I'm
know?
sorry, sir. She's in 203. I cannot put you next to her, but I could put you right across the hall in 206. Does that work for you?"
Wow, amazing.
And it just went on to about I think they did it
That's
six,
amazing.
six
Yeah.
hotels, and 5 of them gave out.
Well,
gave out
maybe
the,
this will be
gave
like
out the room.
she said, some
Yeah.
kind of standard bearer for.
Yeah.
Hey, look, don't be so quick to give out this information or so lax in the way you do it. But it just seemed to be, it smacked of insincerity, the whole thing to me. Maybe I'm dead wrong on this. I mean, I'm not Sigmund Freud, but it didn't seem like this really had the psychologically damaging effects on Erin Andrews that she claims that it did. Not to the
Right.
extreme
No,
that she portrayed with this, literally Shakespearean type of tragedy.
No, she
that-
deserves an
that she was
Academy
painting
Award.
there. Yeah, no, that was tremendous acting.
Great acting job.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler
think she's
wasn't
got
that
a
convincing.
She's got a new career in
She
acting.
looked like Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler in the
yes,
courtroom
yes.
scenes. Anyway, yeah, that was fantastic.
How you feeling lately?
Yeah.
Feeling okay.
Yeah?
Had a few episodes as we all go through. I'm always under the
Let's hear it.
assumption that these things only happen to me, but I guess
No, it
they do
happens to
happen
a lot of people.
It happens to a lot of people. I had a little.
What'd you have?
The heart went out of whack a little
Okay.
again. Ended up in the hospital, and I told them that I failed to take 3 days worth of medication, different medication
That's
that I
not
thought
good.
had nothing to do with it, based on. So they called in it to Publix pharmacy versus CVS. Am I allowed to use names?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
why not?
absolutely.
CVS pharmacy, whatever.
It's your show, Paul.
So I end up in the hospital, and when they're yelling at me, doctors are then yelling at me, absolutely never to miss a day's worth of medication, especially the major one that regulates it. So I agree. So the very next day, I go to pick up my prescription, and they tell me they won't fill the prescription. They won't fill the prescription
Nice.
for me. So it got a little hairy, based on, I guess the medication without insurance is $800 for the
Wow.
month. With insurance, it's $80. So
Okay.
again, I can't miss, I need one within the hour,
Sure.
supposedly, and it has been serious because I've been back and forth many times the last.
It's well documented.
So I guess the new manager at one of these pharmacies must have saw $80 and thought they weren't insuring it.
Right.
Instead of telling me it's going to cost you $80, and I of course would have said that's what I pay all the time, $80
Sure.
a month. So instead, I went through a whole thing, and it got real scary. But then again, I mean, you better take your medication. You better take your medication. Okay, here's my medication. We're not giving you no medication, right? I mean, the health insurance.
They would rather have you die right there on the spot.
Another one of the reasons that on the left, Republican and Democrat, the Bernie Sanders and the Trumpster are like charging ahead, like everyone, you're right, whatever they say, you're right. And there's a lot of truth to it, and so we'll see. Also in the news, we were talking about pre-show a little about in Michigan, Bernie with a huge upset, right? And,
that happened, yeah.
How did he win
and
that one?
13, 14 points down a day, and actually even one in Flint. What's going on there, predominantly black area that was terrible with, poison water and everything. But now it's coming to a big expose down here that's been hidden pretty good.
Where you going, Joe?
That right out of the
Oh, don't
right out
leave.
of the right out of the Biscayne Bay, we have radioactive
Yeah.
water for the last how many years? But the levels isn't too bad. Like Jay asked me earlier, is it like twice the level now? It's 216 times the level. And we were talking, it's really something when you go walk your dog at night who's been drinking tap water for the last 9 years, and he lights up like a glow stick from radioactive. But this could be a big story on the horizon down here with the that we've all been drinking,
Can we blame
especially
Rubio
in the Keys.
somehow?
Yeah.
Or is there a way to blame Rubio on this
tell you,
thing? Got to be Jeb, right?
Yes.
But he's gone now.
Yeah.
He's an afterthought. No, it's crazy. I mean, this business with the medication, you never know what you're capable of, and
Everybody's gone through it, though. You got to have this, you got to have that. There's always some excuse. But this, he said, your insurance company don't want to give it to you. They want something want you to take something else, but there is nothing else in this category.
Then they have to give it
But
to
it had
him.
nothing to do. I mean, the guy could have killed me. Just his assumption that $80. I don't want to tell him it's $80. It's always been $80 with and it's kind of testy though. Without insurance, $835.
Imagine it. What is that for 4 pills? $800. That's amazing. Who is that guy? That everybody hates. Now?
That guy.
He's charging like $8 zillion for one pill.
He's a real
cured HIV.
Yeah, he's a real smack ass. That guy.
Yeah. What's happening with him?
They had him in front of Congress about a month ago. I plead the fifth congressman. I saw
that guy. Yeah, real wise ass.
Real wise ass, and they're going to figure out some way to OJ him. Get him doing something else and put him in jail for something.
They get a traffic ticket. Nancy Grace will be the prosecutor. She'll ask for the death penalty and get it.
Years ago, one of the
that scared me too. Nancy Grace came out on behalf of
as soon as she was showed up.
Erin Andrews. As soon as she was on the case, I knew it was over for the hotel. That was it. They were going down hard. So you imagine they have new management there today.
That hotel.
That hotel.
And then the guy goes out that night drinking with his buddies, and they're sitting at the bar,
watching the
and they're watching the tape of her
tits
naked.
on this girl,
Oh my God! I think that's why the jury came back with that settlement.
Didn't help him any.
That certainly didn't help him any.
All right.
But he threw it out on closed circuit television.
No, they had it.
They were
on
watching it in the bar.
bar.
Having chicken wings and drinking a couple of bitches.
Oh, look at the tits on her.
What happened here, man? This is great stuff.
So how's he
That's a bad thing that happened. I guess the thing is to get
somebody's got to
pay. The people we know, the husband or boyfriend, and the guy would be getting chased down now. Would have got his bail money, would have put the bail money up for him to get him out already. But I guess $55 million, whatever she's going to get, $20 million now.
Right.
Some ridiculous number.
So did the Mustang like that piece of jewelry?
Loved it. Yeah. I mean, are you having any jewelry auctions? I'm telling people about this now because we're here at the auction gallery of Boca Raton where the Jaybird is just knocking it out of the park. But this is interesting because, like I said, I know nothing about jewelry. My idea of a jewelry purchase was service merchandise because you could go in there and they had that hokey guarantee where if you felt you got ripped off on the first piece of jewelry you bought, they would give you full value as you got ripped off twice as much on the next piece of jewelry you bought. You could upgrade at any time and get an exchange. And that was it. You get this stupid thing. Who was the actress? Jane Seymour. She's hawking that thing. She couldn't even complete drawing a heart. So now that's the thing. Oh, yeah, look at that, the open heart. But that was it. But these pieces that I've got from the Jaybird.
You did very well.
Unbelievable. And the Mustang will put up with anything, including we now have a new policy where anytime she's watching a show, I'm allowed to change it to TVG.
Really?
Just because... Right, and watch like meaningless races from Turf Paradise right in the middle of her shows because of these.
So, in other words, every 2 or 3 months we have to re-up the ante just to give you a little bit.
You're killing me, basically. I'm waiting for some checks to come in. Todd knows of what I speak. He's like, hey, we got any money today? No, Todd, I got nothing for you. But
Todd don't need the money.
No, he doesn't. He's filthy rich. But no, these rings and the jewelry. If you come here, you're going to get a hell of a deal.
Let me tell you something.
Because I'm paying list price, Jaybird list price.
No,
it's still a
believe me, you're not. But let me tell you something. It's really quite a phenomenon.
What is that my parents used to say? What's your price for a dealer?
Dealer price.
You hear that? Yeah, right.
You're getting under dealer price.
They give you that look, too, that sour
I've been in this business, Jeff, 27 years. And normally every auction I've ever worked with, other auction galleries and stuff, if we sold 50, 40, 50, 60% of the jewelry at that auction, we were ecstatic.
Well, yeah, sure.
We're selling at 82%.
Wow.
82% because I have a policy here. If you want us to sell it, we're going to sell it at the right price.
Right.
If you want to get greedy, go down the street and sell it somewhere else.
Mo's down the block. He'll probably take it in.
And everybody, and it shows. We have the auction coming up this coming Sunday, and we're already sold out on seats. We got 90 seats, and every one of them's full already. By the way, we do have an auction this coming Sunday, the 13th, and because of Easter in 2 weeks, we're going to run 2 in a row, the 13th and the 20th.
Nice.
So if you need, the number here is 561-865-3444, and you call up and speak to Ian or one of my guys, and they'll hold a seat up for you. And if you have anything you want to sell or consign, we'll take care of you that way also.
Green is the key color here too. With St. Patty's Day, green.
Green's coming up. Yeah, well,
you get plenty of green if you bring stuff in on consignment here too, right?
Do they raise their hand during the auction? Or you give them fans
just like
Sidney
Trump.
Greenstreet
Who's
and
going to
Peter
vote?
Lorre
Who's
and
going to vote for?
Casablanca?
Who's going to vote for this piece?
No, a lot of good stuff. No, these purchases are fantastic, and the people are always overwhelmed. The Mustang's gone to get a couple of these things sized places.
Yeah,
and they're always like, "Oh, yeah, where'd you get this?"
Everything I picked out for you, Jeff, is quality,
no doubt about it.
Quality stuff at a good price. You know, let's face it. Here's the key to jewelry. A lot of these people bought their jewelry 15, 20 years ago when gold was $200 an ounce.
Yeah.
Now gold's $1,200 an ounce. And, you got an 80-year-old lady that's ready to go wherever she's got to go at this point in her life. The great casino or to a retirement home. And, she remembers that she paid $250 for this.
Yes.
And right now, you could scrap it. Gold for $700-800. You give her $300-400, she's happy. You sell it for $500.
Nice
giving away tricks of the trade.
This is a trick of the trade. It's a fact of life.
We may have to sell this as a separate video.
It's a fact of life. So
be more valuable than the Erin Andrews video.
Everybody is happy, and that's the key to this business: make the seller, the buyer, and the intermediate guy, which is me, happy. What's it?
I like the way
he put his head. We saw the dandruff go right by.
He looked like the bookmaker that just got arrested, right? He's got the coat over his head.
Why go around when we go right through? That was Gary, ladies and gentlemen.
That was your partner.
The partner there.
All right, here at the Auction Gallery of Boca Raton, give me the address, sir, how people can find it, because I go by the Applebee's Jog Road.
Yeah, we're right by Applebee's.
Atlantic.
We're right here in the heart of Delray Beach, right off the border of Boca. The reason we're called Boca. Boca's 2 blocks down the road here. We're right at the corner of Jog and Atlantic in Delray in the Atlantic Plaza. The address is 15200 Jog Road, Suite B2. And we have the big auction this Sunday, next Sunday, starting in April. We're going to be running Sunday and Monday nights also. We're going to pick up the pace here. We just cannot accommodate all the quality goods that we're getting here. So we're going to try and find an outlet and run two times every other week. And let's face it, come on up, have some good.
Make some money.
We cater every affair. We have a great time, and that's basically it. Are you guys doing the anniversary show this weekend?
We probably will. I mean, this is an long-running anniversary we've had. Mm-hmm. Pauly, man, you on board?
The gifts are too good.
The gifts are great.
Well, I'm going to bring 2 gifts down for this.
Do that on 940 Wins. You can catch it on iHeart
Radio. That's why I listen to it.
The iHeart Radio app, and we'll have it Saturday 8 to 10. It's the JM Lexus Trivia Challenge. Also, just outside on the fringes of Boca there. In Margate,
Florida.
A lot of Boca people come in.
A lot of Boca people.
They got a thing going now that's really good, where you do your deal online.
I saw the Dunster on TV just this morning.
Very handsome. It's great.
He's got the thing going on there.
Couple of quick thoughts, and we want to finish off with some redneck jokes.
Okay.
There's no better way to finish a show with a bunch of Jews and one solid Italian than with redneck jokes. But we're trying to figure out, because the people don't trust, you were talking about the Dolphins before, they just don't trust this Mike Tannenbaum anymore. Speaking of nice Jewish boys,
yes.
Right? And I was thinking, what job, would they trust him? What was the lowest level job that they would trust him with? Can you picture this guy? He'll be selling pretzels outside, like, the New York Library, right, in Manhattan somewhere, like have a little cart with... In the middle of winter, too. They wouldn't trust him to roast their chestnuts, these Dolphin fans. Definitely lost faith in this man.
Yeah, it's so funny, though. A good friend, Donald Trump, who in the midst of everything seems to always say how great he is. North Carolina, by the way, I just built a beautiful resort on the coast right by the Gulf.
But
Tannenbaum is the same, though. This guy, he touts his own, when I was this, what I said? I actually was the one that said it, that I don't go with the flow or the actual norm. I make my own sports decisions, king of the future. I always couldn't stand Jeff Ireland from the get-go.
Yeah.
And how many times did I say on our show years ago, the only one that's as bad as him is from the New York Jets?
We got the next guy, the next in line. And then this Maria Sharapova thing. Always smacks of a little hypocrisy when, like Phil Knight, he's probably in some sweatshop in Guam, and he gets the call. Hey, here Maria was juicing, man. She looks like a Bulgarian weightlifter.
So she's gorgeous, though.
Yeah,
saw her.
And she's a hell of a competitor.
Yeah.
But she was taking apparently some stuff that only Kenyan marathon runners take. And it had recently been banned. She said that she didn't notice that.
But to her credit,
to
she came out and admitted it, which none of these other
sponsors diving
do.
off the
bandwagon. Which is a shame.
That surprised me.
That's a shame. Yeah, that's a shame.
His Knight, literally, he's paying these guys 3 cents a year to make sneakers. He's selling for $300 a shoe, not even a pair, one shoe. You know, you want the right one? It's another $300. It's like buying a seat on Spirit Airlines. Oh, really? You wanted to sit down on a flight? That's another $25.
Oh boy, we have to bring somebody in here for a quick interview.
Yeah, I was surprised to see.
Come over here a minute.
Happen.
Come here.
What do you got, Big Lou?
Yeah, you. Come here. I want you on the television for a minute.
All right, bring
Come
her
on,
in.
come on over here. She's from Colombia.
From the
Colombia.
Country of Colombia.
She's got a great theory on life. Come over here.
Yeah.
Have a sit down. I forgot your name. What is it? Adriana, come over here and sit down. This is the lovely Adriana, and she's from Colombia.
Very nice.
And she has a theory that what is it that men have to pay for what to be nice? What was it you told me the other day? Tell me what you said.
I forgot.
You
I said
forgot?
too many things.
Oh, okay. But anyway,
I forgot
this is
what
one of our consigners. She's lovely.
Beautiful.
She's from Colombia.
She bringing all these
She
paintings?
brings in all the clocks
Yeah.
and stuff with her boyfriend Eli.
Nice.
And I just wanted to get a pretty picture on here for one
and a Pauly man
for the
is one
Pauly
thing.
man.
Yeah.
All she lovely?
All women.
All women.
Literally, the
And she
Colombian
smell-
women.
and she smells.
What have I always told you, Deforrest?
She
Once
smells
you go South
Phil-
American,
You never go
You
back.
never go
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
No, she's.
From Barranquilla to Bogota. Beautiful
now
women.
I have to
Yeah.
put this.
Yeah, we all have
Very
to
nice,
see.
yeah.
You see now. We
It's
look
because we're all
better.
on a most wanted list.
Okay, I'll be over with
right,
you in a
very
minute.
good.
We're gonna
Redneck
finish
jokes,
up some
Jay, we're gonna
redneck
finish
jokes.
things
Come here,
up.
Pauly man.
Pauly man, we need the extra gratuitous laughter here.
Okay, we need.
going to have sunglasses in there.
We all need sunglasses.
Like
The
the Blues
lights.
Brothers.
The Blues
the
Brothers.
bright lights.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we'll have a look.
brother too.
Yes.
Yes. Colombian Blues Brothers.
You're the best
yes.
looking of all the Blues
Colombian
Brothers here.
Belushi over there. Yes. What do
Let
you
me
got?
tell you,
David?
what is the first thing a hillbilly chick says after she loses her virginity? God damn it! Get off my cigarettes, Dad! You're crushing them.
That's good. Yeah. I like
Yeah,
that.
here we go. We got 17 more ways to tell you're a redneck.
Yes.
You let your 14-year-old daughter smoke at the dinner table in front of her kids.
Yeah, no, I got a great reaction.
There we
from
go.
the
Got some
crowd,
reaction
yeah.
from the crowd. Another way to tell you're a
I think
redneck.
that's what we were missing was the live crowd.
The live crowd. There you go. Another way to tell you're a redneck. The blue book value of your truck goes up and down depending on how much gas you put in it. Another way to tell you're a redneck. You've been married 3 times. You can relate to that.
That's,
But still have the same in-laws.
That's a good barometer right there. Yeah.
The way you think you're a redneck. When you think a woman who's out of your league bowls on different nights of the week. You know you're a redneck if you wonder, how the hell do these service stations keep their restrooms so damn clean? You know you're a redneck when someone in your family died right after saying, "Hey guys, watch this." You know you're a redneck if you think Dom Perignon is a mafia leader. You know you're a redneck if your junior prom offered daycare service. Another way you think you're a redneck, if you think the last words of the Star Spangled Banner are, "Gentlemen, start your engines." You know you're the redneck if you lit a match in your bathroom and your house exploded right off its wheels.
These are troubling signs. Yes.
You're a redneck if the Halloween pumpkin on your porch has more teeth than your spouse.
I got a rise out
Yeah,
of the crowd here.
the crowd. We need to get
All
a
of
live
sudden, it's
crowd in
Eddie
here.
Youngman out there.
You know you're a redneck if you have to go outside to get something from your fridge. And one more
Yeah,
here.
there you go.
You think you're a redneck. You know you're a redneck if you think loading the dishwasher means getting your wife drunk.
Jay Bird, ladies and gentlemen, auction gallery of Boca Raton. When are the next
Next
Kansas
auction
Jam?
this Sunday, March 13th at 1 p.m. Exhibition will be here at 11. Will be catered. And also next Sunday, the 20th, same time, same bat station.
All right, Colombian clock lady over there is bringing stuff. Everybody's got things going on. Auction gallery of Boca Raton, Pauly man, Jay Bird, always a pleasure for Todd and the crew. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you next time from the auction gallery of Boca Raton.
Bye, everybody.
Another tremendous offer.